right now, the Lakers are taking a huge risk with Kawhi Leonard. Now, I know I'm making this video July 1st, 2019. It may not go up until a later date, and I understand that. But they're taking a huge risk on Kawhi Leonard. And this really shows you, I believe, the type of person that Kawhi Leonard really is. And I'll get a little bit of that more in detail. But Kawhi Leonard, a talent. But you have to think about it. The way he's handled this, speculatively, if any of the reports are halfly true, Kawhi Leonard supposedly has talked with the Los Angeles Lakers, in particular Magic Johnson. They're asking a series of questions. Again, this is speculative. I don't know if these reports are true or not. But supposedly, some of the questions they were asking were the Lakers last season really trying to trade for Kawhi Leonard? They're asked, so basically Kawhi Leonard right now, he's basically, the way I believe he's handled this is showing you the type of personality that is Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi Leonard, he's not LeBron James. He's not a LeBron James. He's not a Kevin Durant. He's not a once-in-a-generation player. I know, people are prisoners of the moment. I know that sometimes we can get that way, but he's really not. The Lakers are missing out on a lot of pieces that are getting signed away. Guys like Jimmy Butler, just gone. Kyrie Irving was going to be gone. But, what are the Lakers going to have? Iguodala? What are they going to have? A 35-year-old who, what are they going to get? J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony? Is this going to be half of the All-Star team in 2009, 2010? Is this going to be, are they going to get, Corver? What's going to happen here? So, first off, let's understand this. Kawhi, he's not a once-in-a-generation player. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, those guys are. Kawhi Leonard, you have to understand, the Spurs didn't even consider him as a max player. Okay? They didn't give him a max. The Raptors were willing to use him, although, with hoping to gain more as a one-year rental. So you have to look at this. Is Kawhi, he's holding the league, kind of like the Lakers, kind of in a weird, peculiar situation because he's not a once-in-a-generation player. Is he a great player, an all-star? Absolutely. But you're talking about a guy that's historically injured, bouncing around to team to team to team. Right now at this point, you can't say he's a LeBron. He's a Kevin Durant. He's not a once-in-a-generation player. And when we define generations, I believe once every 20 years, you're not going to see, there's plenty of guys in the league that are not Kawhi. Now, if any of the reports are true, it's just showing you the mindset of Kawhi, in his group. The mindset being that we can hold the Lakers and LA hostage. And I think the Lakers, now I think LeBron James here. So let's look at a little bit of LeBron here. So LeBron, there's no doubt, if you get Kawhi, they already got Davis, you have LeBron, that's probably better than the big three than LeBron has had. Now, when you think of the big three, you think LeBron started that. LeBron did not start that. If you look historically, it's been about twos. When you think about Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Shaq, Kobe. And then they had pieces around them, good pieces in place. So when Michael Jordan, you got Pippen, they put some pieces around them, Steve Kerr. But the big three really, the league's kind of changed. So that was then you also have Patrick Ewing and John Starks, and probably those guys are, before my time. But when you're looking at it as a total, it was two players and surrounding them with good players. Not all-stars, but good, sufficient players. If you look at LeBron James, so you can get a shooter. So right now the Lakers, they signed a guy for the vet minimum, $2.1 million. So basically a one-year deal, $2 million. And the thing about all that is that that's fine. He's a shooter. He's an efficient shooter, but he's not a guy that's going to historically get you a bunch of points. He averages roughly about 7 points per game. So he's not a guy that they're like, he's a great three-point shooter. He's a bargain. He's this. There's a reason why he was available at the vet minimum. Okay? There's a reason why he was available. He's not a guy that's going to start. He's a guy that's a 6th, 7th guy that comes off the bench. If he gets hot, you leave him on the field. If not, you take him off. You take him off the court. And a very efficient shooter, but not a guy that's going to shoot the ball. Not a guy that's going to make, is going to shoot the ball up, jack it up 10 to 12 times, and get something like 13, 14, 15 points. That's not what he is. He's an efficient shooter that's going to come off the bench, a liability on defense. And that brings me to LeBron James. And I'll talk about Kawhi. But LeBron James is a great player. But when he was with the Big Three, right now the Boston Celtics started the Big Three. That was not LeBron James. LeBron James just took it to a whole nother level because his talent was a whole nother level. So LeBron James with Miami, he could run court. On offense, he could wear the opponent down because the guy that's got to guard him. And then on defense, he could just straight up, one-on-one, just lock a guy down. Just lock him down. He could run court on offense and run court on defense. People forget LeBron James in Miami was 25 years old, and he was just entering his prime. I mean, he was youthfully entering his prime. And it's just crazy to think that people don't respect the talent that LeBron James as a complete player was. Now, of course, his shooting has gotten slightly better because he's taking less posts and dunks and he's taking more shots. So he's got to work on his shot. That was his knock in Cleveland his first time around, was his shooting. Everybody's like, okay, he can pass, he can dunk, he can play defense, but his shooting is speculative. Like, he's an okay shooter, but we never viewed LeBron as like a great shooter. He's gotten better in those areas, but unfortunately, his post game and his dunk game has gotten less, and so is his free throw shooting percentage is actually diving down with it. So I understand the Lakers, LeBron isn't that player anymore. LeBron can turn it on, but like we've all seen those iconic LeBron defensive plays where basically he's going up and blocking a shot. It almost looks like he's elevating and almost literally goaltending the way that he can block a shot. But you have to understand, for every one or two of those that you see in a final series, he lets off a lot of plays on defense. And so LeBron can't run court anymore offensively and defensively. And in the way that he kind of helped Dwayne Wade, because when he got there, Dwayne Wade was already a Miami's guy, right? That was Miami's guy. But LeBron could make up for any defensive deficiencies that the Heat had in that Big Three. Because LeBron seriously was a lockdown defender almost. For a guy his size and his strength, that's crazy to think that he was that lockdown defender, but that's what LeBron was. Now, you have to look at it from this perspective. LeBron's not that player anymore. We're not questioning his offense. We're not questioning his passing ability. He can, if he wants to score 30, he can make it happen. He's got some bad games. He's got some really good games. It's his defense. His defense is the thing that he can't do anymore. When he wants to turn it on, he can occasionally make a great play out of nowhere. We've seen that in Cleveland where he made some miraculous things happen. But he's not that player right now. That's not who LeBron James is. So you can get shooters around LeBron. You can get a Corver. You can get J.R. Smith. What are you going to get? All these guys are being signed while the Lakers wait on Kawhi Leonard. And so what players are you going to get? Shooters that can't defend. That's not what LeBron... So you basically are just... So yeah, you're going to put shooters on the floor, but you're not going to have the defense. I mean, and like, what are you going to do? So basically, and here's what I'm trying to say. This has been the big three era, right? The Warriors kind of like took it to the next level. So the Celtics kind of started it. LeBron, made it, known, and the Warriors just took it to the next level. But you have to look at the one exception has been the Spurs. The Spurs just straight up said, "Listen, we're gonna get a big guy, once in a generation Hall of Famer." So they had Robinson and then Tim Duncan. And what do? They surrounded, all the players were good. They surrounded them with good players. Maybe not all-stars, but because they played in that system, it made good players into great players. The Spurs were the exception to the rule, just like the New England Patriots in football. They have a lot of good players. Maybe one great one on offense and one great one on defense, but the rest are not all-stars. They're not all pros, but they're good. And collectively as a team, they make each other better because they're all good. There's really not too many deficiencies. The Spurs didn't really wow you. They weren't on the highlight reel. They didn't really wow you, but they won. They weren't a circus. There wasn't a drama. It was really just about grabbing a once-in-a-generation Hall of Fame big guy and surrounding him with absolutely good talent. Not great talent, but good talent. And they could turn into great talent. That's been the exception to this rule of the big three. But if you look at between the mid-90s, probably looking at the early 90s all the way to the mid-2000s, has been about having those two players, Jordan Pippen, Stockton Malone, Ewing Starks, Kobe Shaq, and you have guys that can shoot and play defense. So you're getting a quality player. Getting guys at the vet minimum that are one-trick ponies, that's cool, but having a team flustered with that is very hard. What I'm trying to suggest is that you can actually see Kawhi Leonard's mentality with this. Now think about it. Kawhi Leonard, he's, going to make over $30 million. And he's talking to the Lakers about, did you, speculatively, if half these reports are true, he's talking about, did you try to trade for me, during the season? How much do you like me? How much did you? The man's can I take some time off? Do you mind if I have a personal train? Take time off? You're making over $30 million. How about this? What if all the construction workers, carpenters, electricians, guys that make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, cops, troopers, police officers, nurses, what if they all took time off? These people aren't making $30 million plus endorsement deals that are going to happen with Kawhi going to the Lakers if he goes to the Lakers. They're making $30,000, $40,000. This man is going to make $30 million to play a game. Let's let this sink in, the mentality of Kawhi Leonard. A man that can't consistently stay healthy, wants to take time off, and is going to make over $30 million. You got people that are making 30, 40, 50, that support him making $30 million. If everybody stopped watching the NBA, that were nurses, that were medical students, that were electricians, carpenters, roofers, police officers, if they all stopped, his $30 million goes down. Take time off, holding teams hostage to see if they can treat him like the Raptors were willing to do. And have the caveat of higher endorsements, better weather, and also, that's not enough, playing with once-in-a-generation players. And what are the Lakers doing? What does that tell you about Kawhi? Now, if you break that down as a person, what if a nurse on their 12th hour on their shift, like hour number 9, like, screw it, I want to take time off. A police officer, nah, I'm done, I'm out. A construction worker, nah. What if they're on scaffolding up really high? Like, you know what, this is too dangerous, I'm out. I just want to take some time off, you know what I mean? I just want to take like 25% paid time off. Because when these guys don't show up to games, they get paid. They're guaranteed the money also. Guy's going to make over $30 million in holding the league hostage. I'm sorry. He's not a once-in-a-generation talent. He's a great talent. But you look at the teams, and some people say, well, no, Kawhi over LeBron. Listen, if you look at those early Cleveland Cavaliers teams, start spitting out the roster to me. LeBron carried teams. Carried. He didn't have a Lowry. He didn't have, great rebounders and former defensive, all-stars on his team. He didn't have that. He had cast-offs his first 7-8 years in the NBA. LeBron had a bunch of cast-offs. And then he goes to Miami. You pair him up with a couple, pair him up with great players, and he wins championships. And then he went on his finals run. That's a once-in-a-generation player. Can Kawhi lead a team to the finals 4 to 5 back-to-back years, even at that? Kawhi's a great player, but it just shows you the mentality of Kawhi. Ooh, did you try to trade for me? Did you, are you going to allow me to take time off? Are you going to allow me to do this? I mean, if the reports are true, it tells you a lot about Kawhi Leonard. Everybody talks about, oh, he's really quiet, he's really this. It tells you a lot. Think about the workers. Think about it. If all these people that make between $30,000 and $70,000 a year decided, you know what, I want to take, I'm just, you know what, I don't want to deal with that emergency response call. I just want to take some time off. There's people risking their lives. Military. Risking their lives. Kawhi's going to make over $30 million wherever he goes. Guaranteed. Get time off. And he's doing this to the Lakers. I'm not even a Laker fan. You think I'm a Laker fan? I'm not a Lakers fan. That's the thing. If I'm a Lakers fan, I'm like, Kawhi, when you show up, man, if you show up, you better win. Because in my mind, the way he's handled this is different than LeBron. People say, well, LeBron handled his situation back in 2010, really, his decision, really bad. LeBron did everything he could for Cleveland. He stuck with the team. He did everything he could. For 7-8 years, he did everything he could. When did you hear LeBron complaining? I mean, honestly, no. Kawhi, when LeBron back in 2010, these guys weren't getting these $30 million contracts a year, $35 million a year, $37 a year. But LeBron James, honestly, he's going to make so much money off the court, LeBron. Speculatively, there was a report out that people are missing that LeBron signed a lifetime contract worth $1 billion with a company. If that is true, LeBron is going to be taken care of. It's kind of like the Tiger Woods effect. LeBron makes so much money off the court. The man is set for life. Even if his career was over right now and you took away all of his NBA salary that he's ever made, the man is still golden. If that is true, if the man signed a lifetime contract worth near $1 billion that will pay out over a lifetime, plus all the other endorsements, plus his NBA salary. LeBron, if I was LeBron, you're asking Anthony Davis to take a $4 million pay cut for the trade. If I'm LeBron, I'm doubling down and saying I'll take an $8 million pay cut because we need to free up $8 million of salary as they're waiting for Kawhi Leonard and sign some of these guys that are quality. Not just a specialist, not a shooter that can't defend, but a shooter that can defend. Get yourself a quality player, not a vet minimum. And if I was LeBron, you take the $8 million pay cut. You double down on what they wanted Anthony Davis to do. LeBron's going to make 37, 38 million this year. Even if LeBron still took an $8 million pay cut, which would just, he's still making more than Anthony Davis. And if he can lead the Lakers to the finals or championship, he'll make that $8 million through further endorsements and through a further fan base over in years to come. So if I'm LeBron, well, it'd be great, right? But I'm not LeBron. But I think LeBron should just take the pay cut. $8 million. He makes so much off the court. Now, if the man wasn't making a lot off the court, this dude's going to be worth $1 billion. I mean, he makes so much off the court. Seriously, if you're just going by the speculative reports, I'm saying speculative, these are reports. I mean, this has been confirmed, in magazines, published, but I just use the word speculative. But if that's the case, seriously, I think LeBron, take the $8 million pay cut, allow the Lakers to sign some of these guys that other teams are just picking off, because if Kawhi doesn't go to the Lakers, I'm assuming he's, wow. And that shows you a lot about Kawhi and his mindset. That's an insult, I think, to every construction worker. It's an insult because there's people risking their lives for $30,000 to $70,000 a year, and Kawhi's going to get guaranteed $30 million. And probably maybe for a fifth or quarter of that time, he's going to sit on the bench. And we're supporting these athletes that do this, have that mindset. Well, if everybody else had that mindset, the ticket sales would plummet and they wouldn't be making the $30 million per year. It's a little greedy when you're guaranteed to make $30 million per season, and you're sitting there going, well, how did you want to trade for me last year? Are you going to give me a lot of time off? Are you $30 million to play a game, not to risk your life, to play a game. A game, which you'll make more money in endorsements on. And that's the mindset of Kawhi Leonard. Very disappointing. I'm not a Lakers fan. Very disappointing. So you can tell me your thoughts, but to me, that is very, very disappointing. So that's it. I think the only way for LeBron to augment that is take double down on what you wanted Anthony Davis to do, and make the team better. Get yourself, instead of just one specialist like a shooter and that's it, a guy that can shoot and defend. I mean, because then you can go out and get those guys that other teams are picking off. And I think as LeBron, I think that's the thing. You just got to realize, if we're talking about the Miami Heat LeBron James back in 2010, 2012 circa, all right, he's a wrecking ball on the defense and offensive side. Now, he's a wrecking ball on the offensive side, but his defense is not what it was. So, if there's any time that LeBron needed people around him, it's now. Hence, Anthony Davis. hence Kawhi. And LeBron will always have his shooters follow him. He had Ray Allen. He's always needed the shooters. LeBron has always needed the shooters. He's always needed it. And people underestimate Kyrie Irving when he was in Cleveland as a shooter. Kyrie, when he's healthy, as an offensive scorer, just score. I think Kyrie's actually a better scorer than LeBron. If you're getting a healthy Kyrie Irving right now and a LeBron right now, as just a scorer, just scoring points, Kyrie can get those 3 points off. He can hit the mid-range. Kyrie is a complete offensive utility scorer. LeBron overall offensively is better though, because the assists, the rebounds. But the point is, LeBron's always needed that scorer. He's always needed a Batman and Robin, right? And that's how the league has been. I mean, even Karl Malone, he was Batman, John Stockton was Robin. Michael Jordan was Batman, Scottie Pippen was Robin. He was he's a Hall of Famer Robin. But now we're going to where people need three. You need a Batman, a Robin, and, I don't know what analogy you want to use, but you need a Batman, Robin, and a Hulkbuster. But other than that is it. So I think realistically, when you're looking at Kawhi, it showed me a lot about Kawhi Leonard. Very disappointed as a fan. Just as a fan of sports, I'm very disappointed to see that somebody has that, think about it. If it wasn't for the normal person watching the game, they're not making these luxury $30 million decisions. I just think, that's just the way it is. I mean, I don't know. So you tell me your thoughts. There's going to be a lot of people that disagree with me on Kawhi not being a once-in-a-generation player, Spurs not offering Kawhi a max, or giving him a max. The Raptors willing to take a gamble on a one-year rental. Kawhi not being, fully healthy all the time. They can argue all that points, but what you can't really argue is the mindset. It showed me a lot. Just think about it. A firefighter they said, screw it, I want to take time off. And what are they making? 40,000? Kawhi's going to make about 40 million. I mean, come on.